Hello, and welcome to Writer Rant, author advice in 5 minutes or less, because I have to get back to writing and so do you. So this week, I kind of touched on something last week that really kind of hits home based on some of the books I've been reading recently. And essentially what it is somebody who's using fiction to essentially disguise nonfiction. And what do I mean by that? So what I mean is essentially somebody is taking some concept, and most of the books I've read that have this problem are kind of focusing on, here's all the problems with society right now. It's like, oh man, there's so much gun violence, and oh, there's inequality, and blah 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 blah. I get it, and I mean those are great themes, but if you're just creating a book that's complaining about all of these things, it's like, does it have to be in a fictional context? Does it have to be, aliens trying to determine whether or not to destroy Earth based on all of these things that America is doing wrong? Or is it a person who happened to, be nominated for a Nobel Peace Prize, and here's all the things that are wrong with the world that, are not peace-like? It's like, okay, what are you trying to say? It's like, okay, it's in a fictional context, I get it, but you're using stuff that's pretty much just non-fiction. You're just complaining. I mean, at this point, you're just whining about current affairs. It's like, oh no, things are terrible. And, I agree with that. The trick is that these books don't provide any solutions. If you want to write a fictional book with, current events and that kind of stuff, that's wrapped in something like a sci-fi or a thriller or whatever, at least provides some solutions. Because otherwise it's just like, oh yes, this is something I already know. Things aren't great. We get it. If it really doesn't explore any of the issues, if it doesn't go into depth to say, oh hey, here's the way I'd do it, and it's like, again, it's kind of the show don't tell conundrum. So in one of the books I'm referring to, Nobel Peace Prize, it's like it goes into like these vast just discussions of like, oh, well, here's how we would do an elected official kind of thing. People are all there's no money involved, blah blah blah, and it's like the person just discussed it, like they just wrote about, oh, here's this idea in order to make things better, and it's like, don't just tell us about it. Like, write a story of a society where that's the reality, Write something where things are different from what they are in this society, to show that contrast. Because it's like, okay, yeah, you can whine about, oh, the world's terrible, but unless you show us a different world, something that is not like ours, that has this fundamental change that you say, hey, if we change this one thing, our world's going to be better. That's how you should do fiction. If you're just listing off your grievances, if you're just airing them to the reader, honestly, you just need to write nonfiction at that point, because writing it in a fictional context, what does that accomplish? It doesn't really accomplish anything other than convoluting everything. Because when you have to disguise your main character's identity through a framing device that doesn't even really work, then it's like, just tell us what you think, right? Don't do this whole passive-aggressive, oh, hey, if we did things a little differently. It's like, again, fiction's supposed to be entertaining, right? So don't put your nonfiction whining and complaining in something that's fictional. If you do, at least make it entertaining. Make it interesting. Because otherwise, I'm just going to stop reading. So, what about you readers out there? Have you read anything that you think, this is actually just nonfiction, but they keep passing it off as fiction? Drop it below, warn us about it. If there's anything else that you've read that you're just like, oh man, I can't stand this, by all means, drop a comment below and I'll get to it in a future episode. So thanks for watching this week's episode of Writer Rant. I'm Benjamin M. Weilert.